The final month of work for members of the Delaware General Assembly is right around the corner, so what better time for State of Play? Here with me once again, Stephanie Hansen, former Newcastle County Council President, now with the law firm of Young, Conaway, Stargett, and Taylor. Also here is Michael Stafford. He's an attorney and syndicated columnist whose work has been featured on MSNBC. Well, as the Joint Finance Committee takes the next week or so now to complete their work on marking up the governor's budget, any surprises in the changes we've seen so far? I guess a decrease in Markell's proposed pay increase for state workers was going to be a 1% bump up, now just $500, I guess, kind of across the board. Surprise?
I don't think it was a surprise when we began to hear rumors that the projections, the DFAC projections, were going to be lower than we thought. So, you know, state workers, unfortunately, it seems like they always take a hit. And, you know, we can debate the politics of that, but it's not a surprise.
Right, I would agree with that. I mean, it's not a surprise. When you look at the revenue projections coming in lower, they've got to cut money somewhere. And we know that there are other spending priorities right now.
And I guess there's going to be more cuts on the way just because of the way the numbers kind of work out.
Right.
Right.
And we're also talking clean water fee, which is a sort of revenue generator, kind of the opposite of a spending cut, still waiting to get through. And in recent weeks, DENREC Secretary Colin O'Mara announced his plans to leave the state to head up the National Wildlife Federation in D.C. Kind of a last push here for Secretary O'Mara to get this done before he leaves in July?
Maybe so. I think probably it's more of a push by the governor. And particularly, you can tell that with the new, the choice for the new secretary, which is Dave Small, who has been with DENREC for a long time. I think by choosing Dave Small, who's been really kind of the deputy secretary for many, many years, it sends a message of consistency. We're still on point. Here's somebody that's been involved in the process for a long time that's on point with the water tax and everything. So I think really this is the governor's push to get the water tax through.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Smalls is very respected. I don't think he's going to have any challenges from the Republicans in either the House or the Senate, but I'm not sure. I certainly don't think that the water tax is a done deal. I mean, I think we all agree that it's many of the projects that would go to fund are necessary. I mean, we know, NASA just a couple of weeks ago with the report about the Antarctic glaciers, we know we're going to be facing sea level rise. We have insurers beginning to sue local governments who haven't taken measures to address those kind of issues. So it's targeting necessary things. But I don't think there's a lot of political will right now. I still don't see a large groundswell of support for any kind of revenue-raising taxes to fund these projects. To me, it's just not there.
So we'll take you to you guys be the odds makers in Vegas on the gas tax versus the clean water fee. It's June 30th. What are the odds that either one of these gets done or neither?
Gosh.
I don't think both of them get done. I don't. I think maybe we'll see a small water tax because it's still good. I bet you it's going to rain. It's going to rain in June. People are going to continue to see problems with flooding and stormwater management. It's going to stay on people's minds. I think if anything, we get part of a small water tax.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Cleveland gets the first round. Oh, that happened the other. So I hate to bet. You never know. The odds can be long, but I tend to agree with Stephanie. I mean, I think we're going to see something. I think it's going to be a small water tax. I think the gas tax just hits people in a larger way in their pocketbooks, and it's something they're going to think about every time they're at the pump. I think there's less support for that, particularly since we've had so much transportation and road infrastructure spending in the past. I think it'll be water, but I don't think it's going to be close to what the governor's asking for. All
right, let's head to the realm of politics. Lieutenant Governor Matt Dehn, his campaign for Attorney General, really off to an energetic start. He's very active in social media and with the email blasts, raising funds and kind of showing who he's got support from. Is this kind of an strike while the iron is hot kind of philosophy? He doesn't have an opponent, right?
Strike while there's no opposition. Who's his opponent going to be? It's not just that he doesn't have an opponent. It's that the field's cleared. The Red Sea's parted.
Right.
Yeah.
Where is the credible candidate? So it's easy to have a lot of fun on Facebook and social media when there's no credible opponent who's going to be running against you. And that's really the fundamental question. Who do the Republicans have anybody who's going to be able to step up and do that? They may. I mean, there are a lot of Republican attorneys out there, certainly people who are qualified for it, but not the high level, name recognition out of the gate, credible challenger. I don't see that out there.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt has the command of the field at this point. He can hunt and roam at will, which is exactly what he's doing.
Yep. So he's kind of shooting fish in a barrel because you have there's no real, the primary threat from Jennings is disappeared. Com Connolly said he doesn't want it. Ferris Wharton being nominated for to go on the other side of the bench. There's really nobody out there.
That's right.
The field's cleared. There's nobody out there. And again, there are other Republicans who are qualified for that office who would mount credible candidacies. But none of them have stepped forward. I don't see or hear anything about people, running up to Lancaster Avenue and, pounding down the door up there at GOP headquarters saying, hey, I'm interested in running in this race. It's just not happening. So he'll probably have an opponent, but I don't think it's going to be one with good name recognition or who has the fundraising and the wherewithal to mount a real challenge to somebody like Lieutenant Governor Den.
All right, we will see. Shifting gears a little bit, Delaware prides itself as the corporate capital, but could Pfizer's attempted takeover of AstraZeneca cause a big hit to Delaware's really what had been improving job numbers here? Is there anything Governor Markell can do as the leader of a small state in this massive deal to preserve those jobs if Pfizer does take over AstraZeneca?
That's hard to say. I mean, at the state government level, when you look at what Pfizer would probably do if that sale did go through, I mean, now it looks like we've gotten a reprieve, right, at least for the moment. Why would Pfizer keep a headquarters here when they can move to back to England? They can move those jobs, consolidate, move back to England. I don't see that deal happening in a way that doesn't involve significant job losses for the state, no matter what the Markell administration does.
Correct. And it's all about taxes, where they can get a better tax deal. So, here we are talking about DFAC saying that our revenue is down and they're cutting state workers. I don't see the governor being able to effectuate a positive change with regard to taxes and how that might affect AstraZeneca in order to be able to really stop anything.
All right, we'll keep closely watching it, and we will have more on the AstraZeneca saga that's coming up next on First. But for now, thanks to our State of Players, Stephanie Hansen and Michael Stafford. Thanks for being here on State of Play. And you can watch this interview at newsworks.org/Delaware. Click the drop-down box at the top of the page.